What's a myth people should stop believing? That you have to wait 24 hours before filing a missing person report. Do not do this if somebody has gone missing. Report it as soon as you realize so that action can be taken immediately and the person can be found before it is too late. You can tell a woman's sexual frequency or promiscuity by what her vulva looks like. Pussy lips look the way they look regardless of much or little dicking they receive. A chaste woman is not guaranteed to have them tucked in. And a lascivious woman is not guaranteed to have them poking out. Just saw this on here the other day and nearly stroked over it. Do not put butter on skin burns. If you do, you're gonna have a bad time. You only use 10% of your brain. Then again, if you believe in that myth, you actually might only be using 10%. Full stop. Space pens and Russians using pencils. That if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? I said on Reddit that I hated the smell of weed because it gave me nausea and that the smell stay on smokers. Some people told me that it was not true. So I'll say it again. Weed smell stays on you. People WHO tell you otherwise are either used to it or don't mind it. But holy shit. It really does stay on you. Maybe it's in the hair. Maybe on your clothes. On your skin. I don't know. But for duck's sake. If you've been smoking weed during the day and speak to someone, that person will definitely be aware that you've been smoking weed up. Seriously. Do people who believe otherwise think that any trace of weed magically disappear once you finished your blunt dart? Being autistic. I have a few myths regarding autism I'd like to clear up. 1. Vaccines don't cause autism. No one knows for certain what autism is caused by. But vaccines aren't one of them. The signs of autism simply occur at the same age when most kids get their vaccines. You might as well say that autism is caused by potty training. 2. Not every autistic person is like Rain Man or Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. Autism has a lot of common traits: stimming, lack of social awareness, hyperfixations, hypersensitivity, etc., which manifest differently from person to person. Some exhibit a few very obvious traits. Others have several minor traits. It's like a big buffet where everyone takes different numbers and amounts of the same group of food. 3. Even if you give an autistic person your firstborn, they can't spin straw into gold for you. Autistic people can only spin straw into copper. Not as valuable, but much more versatile in industrial applications. Cracking knuckles is bad for you. That when a snake stretches out its body near a human or animal, it means it is sizing up its prey. This is a complete myth with no basis in reality. Snakes are ambush predators, and if they had to stretch out to size up prey, they'd never get a meal and would risk being injured by its prey. That sheet you're pushing on Facebook, face creams, lotions, candles, jewelry, is a ducking scam. Please do yourself a favor and stop selling it. You're hurting yourself. And if you are buying that sheet, stop. I heard NBA superstar Steph Curry recently say that he didn't think we went to the moon. He has since backtracked and apologized, but a lot of people really don't believe that we did. It's ridiculous. The fact that chocolate is insta-death for dogs. I still wouldn't recommend feeding your dog chocolate. But if your dog licks something chocolate, it's very unlikely to die. It's more often than you'd probably expect that I'm hanging with someone and they freak out over their dog getting a small bit of chocolate. It's obnoxious and unnecessary. Nobody is putting Drew guts into Halloween candy. Using a phone while your car is being fueled doesn't cause an explosion. That GMOs are bad. That MSG is bad. That gluten is bad. Only true if you are allergic, have celiac. That fat is bad. Basically, there is a shit ton of misinformation regarding food and health. That vaccines cause autism or the earth is flat. That having a lot of sex causes any kind of lasting physical changes to the vaginal labia. In Korea, people believe that you shouldn't sleep with a fan in your room or you'll die. that math is hard. It's just taught wrong. The lines on your palms giving any sort of insight about you or your personality. No one can change their eye color naturally. FFS. Cinco de Mayo is not Independence Day for the country of Mexico. It is actually the celebration of the victory of the Mexican army over the French in the Battle of Puebla on the 5th of May, 1862. The relative alignment of stars that are light years away from Earth have anything to do with someone's personality. That there are simple solutions to complex problems. The vast complexity of the world is hard to grasp. So simple, easy to understand ideas are very tempting. They're just never gonna work as advertised. Wheatgrass juice is not gonna heal cancer. Avoiding plastic straws is not gonna save the oceans. Lowering or raising taxes won't fix a country. Donating clothes isn't gonna reduce poverty. Small, simple actions can make a difference. Just not necessarily always in the desired direction. And when small actions lead to complacency about the bigger issues, they do more harm than good. That for employees, your company's HR is there to help you. The sky is blue because of the ocean, stop it. That Wikipedia isn't a reliable source of information. I don't know why teachers tell you this when it is literally one of the most reliable sources of information. That blood is blue while inside the body. This might make some uncomfortable, but the myth that you can lose your virginity from using tampons need to die. That there is a relevant population on the earth that genuinely believe the earth is flat. Using your smartphone at a petrol station will not, I repeat, will not cause a fire. Used to be a telco engineer and this fact irks me so much. Trickle down economics works. That mental health is less important than physical health. That the government knows what it's doing. They don't. They really don't. Billy Jean is not my lover. That going outside with wet hair will make you sick. That weed has no negative consequences around it and can't possibly cause any harm whatsoever. BTW, I'm all for legalization, but weed worshippers tend to spout off nonsense about it. Shaving Doest make hair grow thicker. The only reason this appears to be true is because shaved hair is no longer tapered, giving it a thicker appearance. Same for the pulling of grey hairs. If you don't affect the follicle of the hair in some way, you won't affect its growth. I used to work for the credit bureau and I really wish people would stop believing almost everything they think they know about credit. If your spouse has a debt in their name only, it does not affect your credit. People think it does. There are thousands of scoring models out there. The odds of you getting the exact same score from pulling your own credit report as the lender gives you are slim to none. People think there is one scoring model and their score is the same everywhere. You can pull your own credit report directly from the bureau every day of your life if you want to and it does not impact your score. People think pulling your own report will hurt their score. Canceling old credit cards that you've had for 20 years but don't use is bad. FFS, please stop doing that and then getting confused because your score tanked. People think canceling old cards is a good thing. Edit, forgive me. I speak only for American credit reports. Edit. Regarding spousal partner credit, I'm talking about the report itself, not what happens at a lending institution. Edit 3. Although I worked for the bureau, I have never been a licensed credit counselor and am in no way stating do this or do that to your credit report. You can find all the rules at www.ftc.gov. 1. It's poor people's fault for being poor. Sometimes yes. But oftentimes poor people are in a system that makes it difficult to experience upward socio-economic mobility. Don't have enough money in your bank account? Here, have less money. Let's punish you for being so broke. List goes on. Often students getting into those schools are extremely privileged and attend elite secondary schools where getting into those sort of places is not uncommon. They have the support structure necessary to be qualified for such places, while some smart kid in rural Mississippi doesn't have such opportunity. The Jews are responsible for every terrible thing. It's gone on way too long and a ridiculous amount of people believe it. Carrots don't improve your eyesight. The myth originated as World War II British propaganda. The pilots were rumored to have really good eyesight because they ate carrots, so a lot of parents hopped in on the bandwagon. Tell me, Billy, don't you want to eat carrots so you can have great eyesight, so shoot down those horrible Nazis when you grow up? To be fair, it worked because carrots are now a staple of their cuisine. Edit, to those informing me that vitamin A helps maintain good eyesight. Preventing eyesight degradation and improving it aren't the same thing. A bumper crop of rowan berries, or whatever, doest not mean that it is going to be a bad winter. A tree cannot tell the future. All it means is that it has been a good year for rowan berries. Home buyers believing their realtor works for them. They work for commission, so they work for the sellers. Believe that. That all parents are good parents who have their children's best interests at heart. Just isn't always true, and it makes kids with shit parents feel isolated and like they are the bad ones when they finally get out of the bad situations. That MLMs are legit moneymakers. That as soon as a woman, or any person, steps into the weight room at the gym, she will turn into the Hulk. If you actually want to look like a bodybuilder, you have to train like one. And most of us don't have that much time or motivation to dedicate to the gym or being on a very specific disciplined diet. Lifting weights will, however, help with fat loss and creating some beautiful muscle definition when done properly and in combination with decent nutrition. Therapy is not something that is done to you. Therapy is something that you do. A therapist is there to help you find tools to put in your toolbox. It's your job to practice using the tools so that when you need to use them, you can. That classes in high school like calculus and chemistry are useless. I overheard a man talk to his son who was in high school. He said he never used the knowledge he learned in some classes in high school. He didn't say they were useless. He said those classes see if you're capable of doing hard things. If you are capable, then you go to college. That getting married and or having kids is the only true path to happiness and fulfillment in life. So many people find out this isn't true when it's too late. The notion that lifting weights is going to cause your muscles to uncontrollably blow up all out of proportion and make you look like extreme top level pro bodybuilders. No. Those guys have been taking thousands of dollars worth of steroids and other drugs per month. For years and years. That's the worst excuse ever for not wanting to take care of your physical fitness. Astrology. Too many basic girls on Tinder hiding behind that nonsense to defend their whack personalities. I think that astrology, palm reading, crystal work, etc. can be a fun hobby. In the same way that knitting small stuffed squirrels can be a fun hobby. Something to do and learn about in your free time. It's also kind of nifty to have someone read your palm or tell you stuff about yourself based on star positions. Just like it's kind of nifty to be gifted a small stuffed knitted squirrel. But if you start carrying that squirrel with you everywhere you go and conspicuously wave the squirrel around to everyone, and start bashing every other knitted handcraft in favor of your squirrel, you've gone nuts. That cold weather can give you a cold or the flu. Viruses cause colds and flu. Wash your damn hands and quit worrying about air temperature, people. That we only use 10% of our brain. There are people who sometimes use 100%. They are called epileptics. Everything is better in the hands of private enterprise, not if you rub a couple of brain cells together. The Christopher Columbus discovered America sheet. People are starting to realize that it's a myth. But people still teach this lie. I will in no way advocate for Columbus's actions or treatment of natives or colonization as a whole. But in a very real sense, he did discover America. Yes. There were millions of natives in North America, Central America, and South America. Yes. It's very likely Scandinavians landed briefly in Newfoundland. But no one in Europe at the time had any knowledge of the New World. There was a very real belief that eventually you would end up in Asia going west. In fact, upon landing, Columbus believed he reached an island near India. The plane will crash if everyone doesn't turn their devices off. This is a high Dover from decades ago, and airlines even admit there's zero reality to the concern. No one ever said it would cause a crash. Just that certain electronics could cause interference in avionics systems. That is indeed true. I was flying an aircraft joining the aisles when a GSM cell phone began to ring and completely obliterated all audio on the radio. Fortunately, ATC did not need to give any instructions while this was going on. That the police are there to protect you. The Supreme Court has ruled that the police have no duty to protect. Cops are there to enforce the law, not to protect anyone or help anyone.